Okay, as your trusty review queens, Trey and I will each bring in a new review from the internet that we feel needs to be inspected.
We will read the review.
We will break it down.
And then we rate the impact of the review on a scale from 1 to 5 crowns because we are the review queens.
It's true. It's a very regal process that we've created with leading scientists and researchers in the field that we call
Assess that kvetch.
But Chelsey, my dear, for those of us who don't speak Yiddish, what does that word mean?
Kvetch. It means complaint. Like, ugh, you're kvetching. Stop kvetching. Like that.
Oh, great. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so here we go. I found this review a while ago and I've been sitting on it. And it's a little bit long, but I think it's going to be worth the journey. So here we go. The very first review on Review That Review.
Review That Review.
All right, so today, this review I have found from the website Goodreads, which is, reviewing books, basically. And there's a very active community on Goodreads. I don't know if you are aware of it. And this review was written by Shanice. She has a very cute photograph. And this is 1 star. This is for the book 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay.
Ha 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 ha. No. You're serious? This is a New York Times #1 bestseller. Why? Why are people still claiming how quote unquote good it is? How much they quote unquote loved it? Have you never read a decent piece of literature in your life? Not to say this is literature, but come on. Okay, I'm abusing italics. I was excited to read this book because I like a little romance and erotica every now and then. But I didn't expect this. This wasn't erotic, nor was it romantic. When Anna first meets Christian, it's more than obvious that this is a fanfic of Twilight. Anna's clumsy, constantly... Excuse me, just choked on myself. I'm going to go back. Okay. When Anna first meets Christian, it's more than obvious that this is a fanfic of Twilight. Anna's clumsy, continuously bites her lip, doesn't understand why a guy, any guy, would be attracted to her, and ridiculously naive. Parentheses, Bella looks like fucking Wonder Woman compared to Anna. There was a moment in the book where I put it down and laughed. A good, hearty laugh. I'm not exactly sure where it was. The whole thing is purely comedic. I wasn't going to continue reading it, but I kind of wanted to know how it ended, so I basically skimmed through. I mainly read their emails, though idiotic, were still cute. The actual writing in this book was poor at best. The repeating of sentences, phrases, thoughts over and over and over again. I believe she mentioned her subconscious about 80 times. Parentheses, this is not an exaggeration, but fact. And I wanted nothing more than for her quote unquote subconscious to shut the hell up. And her inner goddess, parentheses, mentioned about 60 times, question mark, ha, 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 what a slut. BDSM, I'm not one who is a fan of this. I don't want to be quote unquote controlled, and I don't want to quote unquote control someone. So that whole aspect was bad enough in and of itself. And the fact that she was actually scared that if she did something wrong, he'd hurt her wasn't a red flag to her. There's a difference between love and obsession. For anyone who wants to read a romance or even erotica, you can buy a $3 or $4 book from Blaze or Harlequin on a Walmart shelf. Why the fuck would you want to pay anything more than a penny for this book? Seriously. All caps. Why do people like this? Christian was nowhere near sexy to me. No matter who I tried to picture playing him, it was completely pathetic. And now they're making a movie? That's completely unfair. And how will they even do it? I say Jack Black plays Christian and Busy Phillips plays Anna. Heh. Now that would be interesting. Please, italics, please, bold, please, please stop buying this book and reading it. Just stop. Read books that deserve this attention.
Oh, wow.
All right. It was a little lengthy. I know it was a little lengthy.
Shanice came to play and she had a lot to say.
But like that is the review on like a website. Like she like that's an essay. Like that if I was a third grade teacher, minus the F words, that's an essay.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think that it's like could even be collegiate level. I mean,
They could turn that into a pilot.
We could. I mean, she like not only did she I just heard you reciting that. And I just want to point out that not only did she use italics and bold and things like that, but she like commented on it. She's like, I overused the italics. I'm aware.
Okay,
it was
so
a choice.
It literally was like very small on the website and it's kind of long. So I had to like copy paste it and put it into a Word document so that I could see it better.
Yeah.
And I like erased all of the font formatting. And then I had to go back and undo that because so much of what she's writing is in the way in which she chose to put it on the page. So maybe Shanice is like an English teacher.
Yeah. I mean, like, say what you will about Shanice, and we'll get into her personal bias, but like, she came to play. She really wrote quite a lengthy review. There is no mistaking her opinion about this book. Where I sort of lose Shanice is her dogmatic approach, the fact that she's, really speaking for all of us when really she should just be speaking for herself. Like personally, I think if Shanice was talking more about her personal preference and less about the absolutes, like this doesn't have a right to be made into a movie. This doesn't have a right to take place anywhere within literature, not to mention within this genre. I feel like Shanice could have been a review queen, but the bias really pushed me outside of that category for Shanice.
That's actually a really great point. Also, it struck me that, like, I didn't read this book. It was a cultural phenomenon, and it's about BDSM. So it's just interesting to bring up, like, why is this about BDSM? Like, if you aren't interested, then like
a different book.
Yeah, like, or just like,
go to Walmart.
There's no point in putting that into the review. Like if you're reading it because everyone's talking about it. That aside, I actually find this to be a very valuable review because I feel like Shanice is a wordsmith. And so there's a lot of attention to detail, and it is like a full arc, this review. And so I imagine that they have a high level of taste when it comes to other people's writing. So, I kind of feel like, yes, I agree. She's speaking in absolutes rather than personal opinions. But that little shift aside, I feel like I feel warned that like maybe like spend your time somewhere else, unless like you want to just like stop and have a hearty laugh.
Okay, like we got to talk about the laughing, because the laughing really did have me rolling. Like she started this entire review. How many like ha 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 ha's were there? Like,
girl, I knew you were going to ask me that. It's I can't even count. I mean,
oh my God, that's a long ha ha ha.
It's probably 16.
I feel like Shanice is the type of person that like just laughs all the time. Say what you will about Shanice and her opinions, but when you're around Shanice, you're going to be laughing too, because she just brought so much laughter in this review. And, maybe some people would say that's passive aggressive, but for me, and maybe it's just like you were embodying Shanice for me, I sort of found it endearing. Like,
Yeah.
listen, like, I'm going to stand by. I think Shanice took this one step too far in speaking for everybody. But I think Shanice is the kind of person where, like, if we were all hanging out and she was just like saying her crazy absolute comments and laughing, that everyone would be like, oh my God, Shanice, that's such a Shanice thing to say. And we would be laughing too. So I do feel like I get some character from the repeated laughter.
Yeah, and I find that this point of view, especially on Goodreads, there's tons and tons, and people include GIFs, and they include pictures, and it's like this became a thing, I guess. And I picked Shanice because I felt like it wasn't just trying to like go viral; it was like their opinions. So I do kind of think this was a common experience. I mean, I think everyone knew that it was like based on fan fiction for another source material, Twilight, and that it was like not necessarily, great literature, right? I think this is probably a common experience, right?
I do, but I wonder, like, if this would be a deal breaker. Like, if I was somebody that was into Twilight, wanting this fan fiction experience, curious to see the reviews of this, came across Shanice's review, would anything in this review keep me from buying the book? I don't think so, especially if I was like on board for a BDSM moment.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like that. She's not into that. She thinks it's wrong, and maybe this is a stretch, but it seems possibly even anti-feminist, which there's an argument to be made for that, certainly.
Yeah.
But like you said, like what do they say? You don't get milk at the hardware store. I mean, like, what you're getting when you're going in for 50 Shades of Grey.
Agreed.
There's no gray area in what you are receiving with this book.
Zero gray and 50 Shades
Zero
of Grey.
gray.
I mean, I think we've been talking about this the whole time, but this is like thoroughly entertaining. I think it's a very entertaining review.
Definitely points for entertainment from me.
And then, like you were saying, the impact, the deal breaker. I don't know. I mean, I don't feel persuaded either way.
Right.
So that is interesting because I really like this review. I enjoy it, but I don't know that I don't really know that there's any impact, honestly, other than like laughing and counting the haws.
I agree. I think that the impact wasn't as impactful as Shanice might have hoped. I don't think I'm necessarily gonna take her advice to run the other way.
Right.
Which is, I think, what she wants us to do. All right. I feel like we have enough information.
Yeah, I think we do too. Are you ready to crown it?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's crown it.
All right. So Chelsey and I each have our own set of 1 to 5 crown cards. And in an effort to be fair and not influenced by one another, we will simultaneously reveal our ratings.
The queens are tabulating.
You ready to show?
Yeah. I mean, can I say I was like really tempted to break a crown in half for this?
Oh, we should discuss that. Should we be able to do that? Should we have a half crown card?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe in the future.
Okay.
Listeners, if you have an opinion about that, share. Okay,
Yes.
you ready to show?
Yes.
Total score.
Unanimous.
A tie. We both have 3 crowns. Chelsey, you want to explain why you voted for 3?
Yes, I voted for 3 because I gave Shanice high points on personality, entertainment, and conviction. Where she lost me was her impact or influence, her ability to sway people in one way or another, and also the bias, her personal bias based on her taste. So that was why I took away 2 points. But I kind of want to like go get a drink with Shanice, which was why I was tempted to give her an extra half crown. How about you?
Okay, wait, like, okay, actual like verbatim ditto, because I feel like I want to be friends with Shanice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would need to read a couple of more reviews to sort of get a deeper feel. I found this to be incredibly entertaining, which is why I was between 3 and 4, because it was a pleasant read, and I appreciate her attention to bold and italics and line spacing, capitals, parentheticals. But ultimately, it's sort of middle of the road. Maybe I would break a crown too if we were doing that. But that's why I went with 3 crowns.
Wow. That was such a good first entry, Trey. Way to really have the first review of Review That Review deliver on so many levels. I'm impressed. I'm honored to be your partner in review queendom.
Oh, Shaw.
But I think we do need like a little bit of a palate cleanse before we just dive into the second review. What do you think?
I love that idea. So let's do a quick little break. And then when we come back, we are going to introduce you all to our fun game with Meryl Streep.
Love it. BRB.
Hold your crown. We'll be right back.